Recorded. You're welcome.
That's a little too close. Right. Okay. Who knows the definition of mistakes? No, I'm serious. Who knows the definition of mistakes?
Like a full definition?
Just give me an example. Like, what's like what's a mistake?
Like,
A problem.
Okay.
yeah, that.
Something done wrong.
Okay, my definition of mistake is an action or judgment that is misguided or wrong. So, yes, you were correct. Something that has been done wrong. Okay. Who's made a mistake? Everybody's made a mistake. I mean, it's part of life. We all made a mistake because it has something to do with our future later on in life. Will everybody go to Romans 8:28 if they have a Bible? Who wants to read Romans 8:28?
I can.
Hang on, I'm almost there.
No, you're not. I'm there.
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
You're okay. Wait, who's reading it?
Abby.
Oh, okay. I stuttered. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to His purpose.
Okay. What's that talking about? What's that verse about?
All things
working
good
together.
for good.
Who loves God, all things work together for the good. So God gives us a reason because it's going to help us later on with our walk with Christ. Even though it may not seem like it at that time when you do make the mistake, it will affect your life later on. Trust me, I've learned. My mom told me once something, and then later on it comes back and it bites me in the butt. Psalms 55:22.
What was it?
Psalms 55:22.
Some.
55:22.
Alright, Sarah's got it.
Hold on, we're waiting for them.
Cast your burden upon Jehovah.
Danielle's got it.
All right, Danielle.
Cast thy burden upon Jehovah, and he will sustain thee. He will never suffer the righteous to be moved.
Okay, what do you think that's talking about?
Okay, lay your burdens upon God, and he will sustain them.
And He will strengthen you, support you physically and mentally. Has that ever happened to anybody?
Yes.
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 I got one more. 2 Peter 3:17.
Alright, I'm there, but I don't have to.
Can I use it?
All right, Sarah. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Here, go back.
I got it.
Okay, Sarah's reading it.
Oh.
Ye therefore, beloved, see ye know these things before thee, lest ye also, being led away with the error of the wicked, fall from your own steadfastness.
Okay, I'm going to read mine. It says, therefore, dear friends, since you already know this, you are guarded so that you may not be carried away by the error of lawless men or fall from your secure position. And what do y'all think that's talking about with our daily lives today? It's watch how you following the world. Y'all may not realize it, but y'all got to watch out who you're hanging with or who you're talking to or what are you saying, because it could end up leading to something very bad. like last Friday, I got in trouble on the bus because I told my brother to sit down and shut up before I beat him up. And that and that reaction, I got kicked off the bus for 3 days.
Are you serious?
Where's your brother?
Who's your bus driver? You need to go pray for that bus driver.
But actions do come back, but it has taught somebody a lesson. I have one more question. Where's everybody at on their reading from Danielle's challenge? Acts. Okay. Anybody else wants to share?
What am I supposed to do?
The first, the New Testament. You're supposed to be reading the New Testament.
You started in the Old Testament?
I started in the Old Testament.
You get extra.
Anybody want to share? I might have a prize for you depending on where you are.
You get a prize?
Devin is in that.
We got Fun Dip. So you get a Fun
I'll
Dip.
say I'm on Revelation.
I'm at
We
Psalms.
want to tell the truth.
Don't lie, Coach.
I'm at Psalms.
Come get Fun Dip.
I've read
You
Revelation.
don't-
Toss it, toss it, toss it.
If you've read all the way to Psalms, you get extra points for reading to that.
I'm on, so I haven't passed it yet.
Do
I'm
we have
on
to do
it.
it in order?
No, you don't have to do it. No, you just have to read the first six.
What's in there?
Or the first six. The first New Testament. Whatever. That's it.
So good, Mickey.
Can I add one thing to you?
Yeah.
On that 2 Peter 3:17? You're cool. Always add verse 18 with it.
But grow in the grace and knowledge for our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. To him be glory both now and forever. Amen.
But verse 17 tells you what not to do. But verse 18 tells you what to do.
That's what I'm talking
7 minutes and 20 seconds.
about. Yeah, I'll get
Where's
it.
the pause button?
No, you don't.
The only thing my mom told me was to go slow.
It never happens.
It's gonna be good.
Woo! Okay. A little nervous. Yeah, okay. Alright. Let me start off with, I picked a topic that all of us have at least faced, will face, or are facing. Does anybody know what depression is? Yes.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, there's many like definitions because like it's like a inner sadness that nobody can describe. It's just like everything inside of you is just like crap, basically. You just feel like nobody cares about you. You're the only one in this position, and it
Pretty much.
stinks.
And if you know, I didn't like call on you or anything, just think of a time in your life when you faced depression, if you have. In Job 17:15, it says, "Where is my hope? And as for my hope, who shall see it?" Facing depression, you can think of things like, I don't have hope, there's no brightness in my life, things like that. So, that's just part of the things you think of. You have to remember some things. In Psalm 61:2, you guys can do that. No, I forgot the end.
Psalms what?
61:2. Okay, Hannah.
From the end of the earth I will cry to you when my heart is overwhelmed. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I.
Okay. That is like kind of translated, I guess you'd say, is ask for help and watch your pride. When sometimes your pride can get too high to where you don't want to ask for help, you feel like to get the job done you'd have to do it yourself, which a lot of times that can be helpful, asking other people to do it usually doesn't work. But this isn't one of those times. When you're facing depression, you have to ask God to help you, to guide you, to show you what is good and what you need to get through of what you're going through. Psalm 69, 1 through 3. I got like 10 of these, I'm sorry. My face is going red, I feel it.
Does anybody else got it?
No?
I'll read it for you.
Okay.
Save me, O God, for the waters that come in unto my soul. I sink in deep mire, where there is no standing. I am come into deep waters, where the floods overflow me. I am weary of my crying. My throat is dried. Mine eyes fail while I wait for my God.
I put out these little notes for each one, and this one I just said, wow. I mean, like, honestly, I based all of this off of a recovery Bible because I was at my dad's, whatever. It's just a Bible, and it words it kind of differently. But it says, I'm drowning. My sister, she read this poem. It's kind of off topic a little. And it was about depression. And she said that she imagined the ocean as, like, feelings, and she was drowning. But she could always see this light or a boat or a, whatever, safety tubes, what are those called? Inner tubes, yeah. Safety, whatever.
Yeah, life preserver.
Yeah, okay. She always saw one. She was always reaching for it. And she was always trying to float up to the top. And she said, you know how easy it would be to just stop trying? Well, yeah, it'd be pretty easy, but here it says, when my throat is dry from yelling out, from crying, when my eyes fail to see God, you wait. This kind of leads to one of these. Whatever. One of them. Anyway. And, hold on. Okay. 1 Kings 19, 11 through 12. I'll read that. And he said, go forth and stand upon the mount before Jehovah. And behold, Jehovah passed by. And a great and strong wind rent the mountains, and brake in pieces the rocks before Jehovah. But Jehovah was not in the wind, and after the wind an earthquake, but Jehovah was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake a fire, but Jehovah was not in the fire. And after the fire a small voice. That it is demonstrating that you can go through so many big trauma-like things in your life, and you're waiting to see God's glory in it, and you just don't even see any light in that event. You just don't see anything good coming out of that. And this is a good reason of why you need to wait and keep praying, because things will get better. They will. It's part of God's plan. Yeah, he faced a strong wind, which in the other Bible it said it broke the mountains apart. It's a pretty strong wind. Don't laugh, it's okay. Anyway. Then he faced an earthquake, and then he faced a fire. Those things are so traumatic. You can fall, get broken, get burnt, and get blown away, I guess you'd say. And still in the end, he heard a small voice. However, the gentle voice spoke to him, and he didn't understand how powerful that whisper had been after all the chaos had occurred. Some things in our lives, they're chaotic. It's just part of it. In order to see the light, you have to be able to recognize the dark. In order to see how bright that light is, you have to have the dark to compare it to. And you have to go through some crazy stuff. Maybe you have an alcoholic or a drug addict in your family. They're going to do stupid stuff. It's just part of it. It's going to suck. But once they get over those things, their personality comes out. You see them grow as a person spiritually, physically, and mentally. And it's great. I know I'm looking at you. I'm sorry. You're just making me not nervous, so. Not directed to you. Okay. Say, I'm trying to think of anything else. Say you lose a family member. They're with God now. They're with God, and that's just another angel watching over you. You have to be able to recognize the good in something so bad say, excuse this, but say you were raped. Okay, well, at that time you feel so weak that you can't even describe how you feel. You feel so empty, so broken down, and so worthless. But in order to feel that, you have to know what it feels to be on a spiritual high. Okay, you don't really have to look this up. Just in Luke 2:36 through 38, Anna, the daughter of Phanuel, Phanuel, whatever, him. Her husband died, and she worshipped constantly and spoke forth of Jesus. I wrote that down because when I was doing this, there was a guy there who was facing depression. He was a drug addict, and he is facing DTs, which is whatever. He's like going in withdrawal of the drug, whatever. And so I told him that if you just keep asking God to be with you in the things that you are facing, He's going to help you. And I told him, I said, look, I've been through some serious crap, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you because it doesn't really matter. And the people that do know, there's only 3 people in this room that know what happened to me, or what has happened to me, or what I've gone through. That's Natalie, Josh, and Adam. There's like 20 people in this class. It's 25, 30. The fact that I don't know enough about you, I just learned, Sarah, wherever she is, there you are, I just learned that her mother passed away like 4 months ago.
It was last year.
Oh, last year. See, I didn't even know that. I didn't know that until the other week. And I know it's a hard subject, and I hate to use you as an example. You're just the first thing I thought of. That's serious. To me, I'm sorry you lost your mother and everything, but to her, that changed probably her whole entire perspective on God. You don't know. Or maybe it didn't. Maybe she stayed strong through what she went through. And now she's doing perfect. You see her, she comes to church all the time. She's doing really well. Never did to me again. Yeah, back to what I was saying. I know I've gone through a lot, but I can still stand up here and talk about what I've gone through and say that God has helped me out through all of it, even when I turned away from Him, because I didn't want to see what He would help me with. I don't want to see... I went through a phase of atheism. I was an atheist for probably 1.5 years, 2 years almost. And, I found God in like September of last year. That was, since then, I have faced so much stuff. And it's really weird because it's kind of like reverse. Because you think, oh, once you find God, your life becomes golden. No. Once you find God, you face so many things as a testimony. To test your... to test it, to see if you would actually understand that God has done so much for you and that He's going to do so much for you. Without a testimony, it's the same thing as seeing the light because of the dark. Without a testimony, you wouldn't be able to understand who God was and what He can do in your life. Another example is James 5:17. In there, I don't know if it's that long. Yeah, it's not that long. Okay, Elijah was a man like passions with us, and he prayed fervently that it might not rain, and it rained not on the earth for 3 years and 6 months. All right, that was weird. Okay, he saw the rain as a flood and a nuisance to him growing maybe crops or something. I don't know what they did back then, but he saw all of that as something that was just terrible. So much rain, whatever. So he asked God, stop the rain, please. It's too much. Well, He did. And He stopped it for 3.5 years. Could you guys imagine going 3.5 years without water? Especially back then when you couldn't, clean water as well. That was like a serious drought. But, can't just ask God, why is this happening to me? Well, I guess you can, but it's stupid. Because why is this happening to you? Well, it happens to everyone else. It happens to the innocent of people. It happens to Sarah. It happens to Miss Wendy. It happens to Mr. Pete. It happens to everyone. You go through a bunch of stuff, and it's just going to get better. I keep repeating it's going to get better because you have to see that God is going to work in your life.
Depression is the devil's way of depriving you of God. God is, he's the cause of your good. He can be the cause of your bad, but you don't understand that's not bad at the time. It's bad at the time, but it's not in the results. But, the devil just tries to distract you from God. Jeez, on our trip, our devil tried to stop the bus, tried to keep us from going, and we got 2 people saved that weekend. Like, that's just an example of how well that weekend turned out, even when the buses broke down. Another is, okay, when I got saved, my mom and my grandmother, they fight constantly. I don't understand it. They don't fight. They're kind of at peace with each other. They just aren't close. So I go to my grandmother's every single day for piano practice and sometimes church, depends on what day it is. And my mom didn't like it at first. She felt like my grandmother was trying to take her place, whatever. My mom would come up with the stupidest reasons to keep me from going to church. I didn't understand why. She would never do that. She would never take something that meant that much to me away from me because she knows it meant something to me. Only the devil could actually be sick enough to do that. I like this one. 1 Peter 1:6 or 1:6. 1:6. Yeah, okay. Wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a little while, if need be, ye have been put to grief in manifold trials. That was worded weird too. Okay. Anyway, right here I have Peter calls them the different kinds of troubles, which also translate to many colors. Okay. So, if you think of problems as black and white, there's the solution and there's the problem itself. You miss the things that are hiding in the grays, which is one of my Instagram captions. Okay. So the many colors, depression is a very colorful thing, and I know Natalie doesn't like that. It's really funny, we had this conversation. Anyway, she was going on and on about how much she hated poets because they always call depression colorful or beautiful, and in a sick way it kind of is. You think about it, there's so many colors in the world. Like, honestly, you've got magenta, you've got all those weird colors, like, there's a bunch. So, those colors are just an example of one thing that can lead to depression. That's how many that's how many things that can cause depression in this world. You know, maybe I can mention something like, let's see, clock. Well, think that, okay, it's a clock. Maybe someone thinks of a clock as something that's terrible. Something that's just like, it reminds them of a time. Like a bottle. If you said bottle around me, I'd get a little nervous because of my dad. If you said pipe or something, I'd get nervous because of my sister. It's just, things like that can lead so many things. Like, there's just so many things you could say or do that could cause depression. So, all in all, you need to watch what you say around people because you don't know how it affects them. Who knows what oppressor means? Oppression. Anyone? Oppressor? Okay, when you say it's like your oppressor, it's like your bully, almost, isn't that right? Okay. You need to recognize who the oppressor is, and I have a verse, but I don't think it's really long. Okay. But you need to recognize who the oppressor is. You need to make sure that you don't blame God for the things that you go through. You need to remember that it is the devil who is, like, affecting us. Okay, let me go off subject just for a second. Are we good on time? Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay. Back to what I was saying, I don't really know any of you. And if I had the time, I would go through every single person, ask them to tell me something about them, but I don't have that time. But, I just wanted to come up here and maybe let you guys know that the things that I have said tonight have happened to me. There's a bunch of things that have happened to me that just, it's a really long story. My dad was an alcoholic for, whatever 48 is minus 21. 27 years. 27 years, around there. Maybe give or take a couple years. And, he was an abusive alcoholic. And, I don't remember much of my childhood, probably from age 11 and back. A lot of it was just a blur. I remember most of my 12th age year because of something very traumatic that happened, which, nothing. I went to Texas, and bad things happened in Texas. Anyway, my dad has been sober for probably going on a year now, almost a year. He works at Starting Point Outreach, which is a rehab for men, and he's the manager there, so he's doing really well. My sister, she got on drugs 2 years ago, and I mean, I don't really know exactly when she started drugs. I know she's on and off been on drugs. She's been caught with drugs. Her boyfriend's on drugs. Just a bunch of bad things. Right now, I don't know where she is, but growing up, that's the one thing I remember. My childhood. From that, I remember my sister was the closest thing I could probably ever get in my life. You know, you think of something that you just absolutely cannot live without. Say, for Sarah, maybe it's a necklace her mom gave her or something. I don't know if it is, because I don't know what her mom left her. But that is so important to her, and you'd probably do anything for that necklace. That was Brianna to me. I mean, she was so, like, she was like a mom, a sister, a best friend, and a teacher, a role model, so many things in one. And now she's on drugs, which you'd think that would, like, destroy me, but I'm actually doing really well about it. I'm not crying. So, that's a good sign. But, what else? My mom just got married Saturday, Friday. One of those days. And people say that's why I was so upset that weekend. I mean, not really. I'm not really couldn't care less. Okay, that's not part of it. What else? My parents got divorced when I was 11, and he was still drinking. That's when I went to Texas. And then, I don't know, just a bunch of really bad things, and I'm not going to sit up here and tell you every single thing that happened to me because it's a lot. But that's just the most important things, and I want you guys to be able to know me like those three know me, because those are some of my biggest secrets. But I want to know you guys like I know them. I know a lot about Natalie, I know a lot about Josh, I know a lot about Adam. And I would keep their secrets like they would keep mine, and I want to keep yours like you would keep mine. The last thing is, does anybody know the definition of hope? Figured not. Okay. Hope is, I didn't look it up or anything, but hope is not defined. To you, it's defined as something. For me, my hope is seeing my dad on weekends, that he's healthy and that he's okay. Seeing my sister living, I don't know. Hope is going to church every Saturday, or every Sunday and Wednesday. Hope is my mom is not facing the devil anymore. She's not, worded that weird. She's not, like, giving me issues about it. But Isaiah 40:31, and I have it written down here because the way they worded it, yeah. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary, and they will walk and not be faint. I really like that. Like, that's probably one of my favorite verses. The Lord will renew their strength. God will give you whatever you lost in that fight. Simple as that. I mean, God will patch the holes that have been shot down so many times. They will soar on wings like eagles. You will fly, and maybe it's a spiritual high, maybe it's the hope that you're basing your life off of. I don't know. You're going to soar, and you're going to feel great about it. They will run and not grow weary. You will fight battles that you thought would kill you. Anything that I've gone through in the past year would kill me 3 years ago. But it hasn't. I'm still doing really well. You won't get tired of the things that you usually get tired of, because God gives you that strength to push forth. They will run, I already said that, and they will walk and not be faint. They will walk through life and not be depressed anymore. Depression is, I've gone through it. I'm probably going to face it many more times. I mean, depression, give it time and give it your only answer. Just speak the word of God, pray, ask for guidance, and it will help you get through it. I think that's all.
Hey, Miss Wendy, if